Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with the second round here at the European Darts Grand Prix in Sindelfingen. We introduce to the stage a former European Darts Trophy finalist here in Sindelfingen, a winner of the Players' Championship Finals, Das Kapital, Paul Nicholson! To the stage, a former European Darts Grand Prix champion, a Winmore World Masters champion, and a winner of 7 PDC ranking titles. It's the King, Mervyn King!
Where the traitor lost both his name and his face. Through the halls and the corridors, stinking in blood. He tasted his grin, and it tasted good. The king took his head, left him broken and dead.
Taken in good spirits by Paul Nicholson as Mervyn King tries on the shades. In a match that could be ahead of a match that could be really, really good. This pair have met several times, 19 times in the past, including some big ones. A match up here at the European Darts Grand Prix between Das Kapital, Paul Nicholson, and Der König, Mervyn King. Dan Dawson. Could be really, really good, couldn't it?
It could be. It could be. We saw the asset, or Das Kapital, if we're going on the German name, seeing as he's got a shirt printed up, we may as well do him the honour of that. He was involved in a battle with Dawson Marshall, and he won it 6-2. Doesn't tell the whole story. Dawson was missing darts in almost every leg that he lost. It was a close game, and it was intense, and it was entertaining. But Paul Nicholson threw the 3rd highest average of the day yesterday. It was good stuff from the asset. I think he's going to have to match, or maybe even better that, if he's going to best the King, a man who has won.
Game on. Yep, desperate not to be sat next to you and up on that stage instead. Even if Mervyn did steal his sunglasses at the start of it. They have played some significant ties, but they are great mates. Away from the hockey too, of course, Paul Nicholson winning his major title against Mervyn King back in 2010. Players' Championship Finals.
Yeah, the only man to have won a major televised title and not get in the Premier League, Paul Nicholson.
100.
Not yet, anyway. Still time. Still playing.
$140. Yeah, Mervyn King, of course, has graced that stage. Been very, very far in the tournament. Been in the final of the Premier League.
Oh, Mer's been in the final of all kinds of things. Twice at the Lakeside. Won the World Masters. Final of the Grand Prix. Should have won that.
82.
Final of the Premier League. Final of the Players' Championship Finals. Final of the Masters, the PDC Masters, that is. Winner of the International Darts League. Final of the World Trophy a couple of times in the BDO. He has been there, done it, got the T-shirt, taken it off because it was hurting his back, won something else. Oh, bring your pen next time, George. We've got to go. Mervis is on 199, Paul Nicholson on 281.
Interesting part of the draw that this pair are in, because we've lost two seeded players from this quarter. The departure of Darryl Gurney in the hands of Jamie Lewis, followed the exit of Jelle Klaasen, who was beaten by Jermaine Watermainer this afternoon.
59.
Still is the number 4 seed Michael Smith, who will take on Watermainer. The winner of this one will take on the Welshman.
Well, that's it. The seeded players we have, Mervyn, who notoriously has injury problems that can crop up at any time. 2 seeded players are out, and then Michael Smith, who is obviously struggling with injury. So this section of the draw, don't be surprised if an unseeded player comes through it. Merv may go and average 110 here, but there's no guarantee that he's fighting fit tomorrow, though he has lost a lot of weight, Merv. He's lost more than a stone. He's on the Atkins. Nicholson looking to cut down this 48 to 0.
16.
Looked like it just caught the flight there, didn't it?
Mervyn King then to break in the very first leg of the match. Well, by hook or by crook, Mervyn King gets there.
Second leg, Mervyn to throw.
Paul Nicholson was very, very relieved to win his first match after the debacle against Benito van der Pas in Saarbrücken. I'm sure that video nasty went through his head over and over again. But he's been practicing down backstage for a good hour or so before playing. That was the exact same practice routine that he had. Mervyn King follows a mirror of his practice routines. He arrived here at around 1:30 for this match, which has started at around 8:20 local time. Even for Mervyn King, that is early.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not been practicing non-stop for 7 hours.
He has.
I'm not even sure Merv could practice for that long.
140.
But there is pressure on him. I spoke to Merv at the weekend, and he said, "Look, I realise that, you know, these couple of Euro tours are coming up. If I don't perform, then I'm in danger of missing out on things. And the match play is the next obvious target. But once you start missing tournaments, then the slide can happen." And look, Mervyn has been up in the top of the rankings for years and years and years. I think he'll stay on the 20s. And I think he'll hit single 9.
129.
Not much that the asset can do about this one right now, apart from hit big, and hope.
Having to shuffle across the oche to try and find a route.
100.
Managed to just land one in the treble, but that's nowhere near enough to apply any pressure when Mervyn King is on his favourite double.
Game short in the second leg. Mervyn King.
And Mervyn King doubles his lead.
Yeah, expertly found after that first dart. Mervyn, Paul Nicholson looking to make it to the last 16 of a tournament for the first time this year. He's had a few runs to board finals in things like the UK Open qualifiers and Pro Tour events.
100.
Obviously, he was on the verge and missed several darts to make the last 16 in Saarbrücken in that game against Benito van der Pas, which he won't thank us for reminding him of.
58.
But although it has been an improvement from Nicholson in the last few months, in that he's winning games and throwing some decent stuff, in terms of taking that next step, getting past winning the opening couple of games, he hasn't found a way to do that just yet.
Brilliant stuff from Mervyn King. Perfect visit. There has been a perfect leg today, by the way. Didn't happen on the European Tour, of course, never does, but a challenge to a 9-darter. Hit by Dennis Nicholson.
One of our Nordic and Baltic qualifier friends from the Euro Tour in events past.
There was a last 16 match against Kevin Dowling in Wigan. According to some, one of the worst towns in the world.
Well, according to Vincent van der Voort.
It always rains in Wigan, but it also rains 9-darters, doesn't it?
It does. 60. It might be the 9-dart capital of the world, Wigan. It's got to be between Wigan and Barnsley.
We're expecting a tweet within minutes from one of our anoraks online. Now Nicholson needs to find something to claw his way into this, because Mervyn King is going to come back for 120, and if he takes it out,
85.
the asset will have a mountain to climb.
Treble, single and double, all on the 20s. We could do it on the ones, but that's not enough, Merv.
80. All you require 67.
67 then. Nicholson just taking a moment before he approaches the hockey. Double 17 will be the target. He's found that. Leaves him double 8. And he's found that. Well executed from Paul Nicholson, and much needed too.
Yeah, that may settle him down, although with Paul, you're never sure he's ever settled as such. He can work his way into games and feel comfortable in games, but he's always got that intense demeanour, hasn't he? He'll sit next to you in the commentary box and be very relaxed and chatty and talk freely and sensibly and astutely about the game. But when he's up on stage, he's a different animal entirely.
Yeah, it really is.
He's Paul Nicholson here, he's the asset up there.
Relaxed, jovial when he's doing this job. But I think that word you used, Dan, is very, very apt for Paul Nicholson. Must spend a lot of time camping because he's always intense.
Oh yeah, I get it.
81.
I'm not sure our graphics guys have a tumbleweed graphic that can roll across the screen.
132.
Don't worry, it's not necessary. What is necessary is for Paul Nicholson to find some extra gears, because at the minute he is struggling to challenge.
140.
Not bad, keeps him interested in this leg.
Well, Mervyn King was kind of oohing, but I'm sure he wouldn't have gone for it.
Well, that's it. I was assuming he'd try and go treble 20, single 18, but the way that he reacted to that, I'm just, a little bit of me thinks he might have fancied it, he might have gone for it.
We did see him have a change of tack, didn't we, in Saarbrücken, going for 80. He decided to go for the 20s and bamboozled everyone, and the dart bounced out, didn't it? And he mouthed, "That's why."
Double 8. Double 4. Double 4 is pinned for a 15-dart leg, and Mervyn King averaging in the mid to high 90s right now. Paul Nicholson in the mid 80s, and he's going to have to summon up a little bit more than that to challenge Merv right now, because Mervyn is just playing as if he's in cruise control.
It's interesting, the head-to-head between the pair. We spoke about their most famous meeting, but Mervyn King has been consistently higher up in the rankings than Paul Nicholson. I know that Nicholson's been in front of him for short spells in his career, but it is only 10-9 to Mervyn King, and a couple of Paul Nicholson's wins have come in the last 3 years when he's not been enjoying his best spells. So he's probably one of those opponents where complete opposite to Benito van der Pas, where Nicholson's got this thing in his head about he's the man that knocked him out of the World Championship and all that. An opponent where he really fancies his chances.
But is he still fancying his chances right now? Because he's just struggling a bit, and that first dart isn't helping him out. Paul Nicholson's averaging 25 with his first dart, and that's not enough.
Well, that will help Nicholson, that won't.
85.
Still favourite for this leg, Paul Nicholson, but he needs a good setup shot. 60's not enough. Better. Much better. Oh dear. The King, treble 19, would have left double 19, but he has forced Nicholson to take this out.
Usually a double 16 man. Just like Merv. And hits it just like Merv. Sense of hanging in there, isn't there, here?
Yeah, well, hanging in there can do for a bit, but then you have to hit the afterburners. We've seen that today. We saw Jermaine Watermainer absolutely nowhere near Jelle Claessen's level. That's the biggest leprechaun I've ever seen. But he was nowhere near Jelle Claessen. Nobody would have got near Jelle Claessen's level for the first 3 legs of their game. He was averaging 130. But Jermaine just managed to work his way back into the match as Jelle started to miss. And then it just became an avalanche. And he won 6 legs on the spin. Now, at the minute, Merv is looking very solid. He's averaging 99. Paul has got to drag himself up into this game. We saw Aaron Monk take Michael Smith all the way to a last leg decider when it looked like Smith was going to run away with it. By upping his level as the game went on, Aaron Monk. In the end, it was just a little bit too little to turn the match in his favour, but he gave himself a chance. Hanging on in there.
Yeah, we could have seen more seeds fall today. 6-5 win for Dave Chisnell against Matt Padgett. Now,
140.
this is a better leg against the darts of Paul Nicholson. He's left himself on the same finish as Mervyn King. Doesn't mean he'll get a chance to take it out. Bullseye. Well, he will get a chance to take it out.
Well, he's bought himself the opportunity. Treble 17. Ooh, disgusted with that one, Nicholson. Same route as Nicholson in the last leg, I would think. It is, and it's double 16. Double 8. Oh, now this is the opportunity that Nicholson's been waiting for. Hanging on in there, waiting, hoping that Mervyn would miss. And when he does, he has to strike.
Paul Nicholson pounces and breaks King's throw. It's getting interesting. As I was saying before the end of that leg, a few close tussles. We saw Joe Cullen beat Martin Schindler 6-5. Danny Noppert a 6-5 win against Gerwyn Price.
Yeah, 2 fabulous games of darts, those 2. Straight on the Christmas DVD, now that's what I call some sexy Euro Tour darts.
Yep, had the drama and the quality.
1-seeded player going through in Joe Cullen, 1-seeded player going out in Gerwyn Price. And Danny Noppert, I tell you what, he's been averaging pretty much 99 for the entire weekend over his 2 games. And if that carries on all the way through tomorrow, Danny Noppert has given himself a chance.
95.
Paul Nicholson is giving himself a chance here to go into the lead for the first time in this match. The average is now in the 90s for Paul Nicholson. he is moving slowly through the gears. He's reeling Mervyn in. But Mervyn is a very big and very difficult fish to land. Do you think it's the rhythm that Nicholson likes about playing Merv? He's not one of the quickest players in the world. He can just they've got very similar rhythms, haven't they? Similar paced players.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Perhaps it's something that you might get a chance to ask him at the end of it.
Well, might do, but it might be dependent in many ways on whether he can take this out, whether we're asking Paul Nicholson anything at the end of this match.
Well, I thought he was going to take it out. The first couple of darts looked assured from the assets, but King has the chance to break straight back. Those two darts have looked a bit wobbly. But the last one, and look what it means to Mervyn.
I think he knows that was a big moment in this contest. Mervyn King in full Gurn mode. Is that a John Henderson mask?
It certainly is.
Oh, darts merchandise has peaked.
I'm not sure it was bought, Dan.
Well,
I think it was homemade, a homemade John Henderson mask.
Well, while I approve of the endeavour and the initiative, why is this not a mass-produced item? There's certainly a market there. I think that's a Barney mask.
Maybe it is merchandise then, because it seems to be from the same manufacturer, and it seems to be probably a problem where the aisles are, because nobody's wearing them on the front of their faces.
Yeah, maybe. I would imagine the Barney and the Hendo mask are probably cut from the same template.
140.
Well, look, Merv has kept his nose in front in this one, but Nicholson's stolen the darts here, and having missed a dart in that last leg, you just get the feeling that the asset might be wrestling the upper hand away from King.
60.
He certainly feels like the more aggressive player at the minute, however.
Grimace from Mervyn King. And as you said, it's starting to have the sense that he's the one that's now hanging on, whereas Nicholson was hanging in.
Well, yeah, it's almost like Nicholson has gone from just desperately trying to cling onto his coattails to actively chasing him down. But that's a poor setup shot from Nicholson.
We require 144.
He might need a shot like this between now and the end of the game if he is going to emerge victorious.
Yeah, had a dart, didn't he, to finish 1-1 for. This is a bigger ask, a bigger task. But he could be up to it. He might well be up to it. So near, yet so far. And is Mervyn King going to just nick a leg once again?
20 for tops. Out of the way of the tops. But so is the dart at the tops, and Mervyn. Gurn factor increased to 8. There's still room for it to go up more.
Oh, is it happening again? Crucial moment. This time he hits. And this match is going to reach a very dramatic climax. Paul Nicholson, well, that took something out of him, you can see that, and he's just taking his time. By the way, just a quick apology for any sound issues that you may have been suffering during this session. Just a word, they have been resolved now, but you may need to refresh your stream to get us back in sync if that's the problem that you've been having.
Or just put it on mute and revel in the glory of Merv and the assets.
Most people do, Dan, don't
Yeah, well, all right.
worry about that.
Yeah.
Mervyn King is having to worry about Paul Nicholson here.
Once again, we're seeing a game, and there have been a few this weekend, where neither player's up at that 100 average mark, which you class as the benchmark of quality, but it is a fantastic tussle between them. And it's not as if the lead has been changing hands here. Mervyn has led right the way through this game. He has never been behind, but it changed. It went from Paul Nicholson, desperately just hoping, trying to live with Mervyn King, to then actively running him down, getting him in his sights, reeling him in. And this is a massive, massive opportunity for Paul Nicholson. It has been an awful long time since he's made the last 16 of a tournament, more than a year.
And he should have made it last time out, shouldn't he? And that will be in his head. This is huge, a huge test for Paul Nicholson of mental strength. He's been hit hard in his career at times, having tasted the feast at the top table of the world of darts, but only fleetingly. To bounce back immediately the next time he's got the opportunity would be very, very impressive. He's got time on his side in this leg. So no pressure.
Apart from the pressure that he puts on himself.
And now Mervyn King might be applying some of that pressure. Another treble. Well, still in a very achievable out. Nicholson will not want to be messing around here.
Double two to go into the lead for the first time in this match. And the asset is a leg away from something he has not managed in more than a year. And you can see Nicholson. This is a man who does all kinds of things before games, after games, during games to try and ride the nerves, to try and find a way to produce his best. He meditates. He does all kinds of things. And the breathing exercises. Don't forget to breathe. He's told us that in his little tutorials on how to play darts. It's wise advice, because if you do forget to breathe, you'll just pass out.
60. Well, Paul Nicholson fans may be holding their breath as he's on the brink of reaching the last 16 for the first time in a long time on the European Tour. And it is a battle for him, isn't it? Like we said, when he gets on that stage, a naturally intense person, he's just trying to bring himself down, just focus on each visit at a time, each dart at a time. 140. Mervyn's down to a finish, but so could Nicholson be, and if he can find a couple of big trebles, puts himself in a position to try and do the job here.
Surely you don't stay on the 20s there, do you? Oh, what a dart that is!
100.
Wow.
161.
There's the one, Merv.
Had to go some time.
41.
He has left himself a Shanghai finish, but he would have wanted much, much smaller number than that.
Yeah, but he can still really turn the screw here. That will help an awful lot, because he is forcing Mervyn King into taking out this shot, in which he's only going to get
119.
one dart at double, providing he hits a treble. Superb setup from Paul Nicholson. Mervyn doesn't find a treble, and Nicholson is at match point.
It has been more than a year since he's been in the last 16 of a ranking tournament. He could not get over the line against Benito van der Pas last time out on the European Tour. But the asset has just taken out Mervyn King. It has been more than 12 months, but he has grafted for that Paul Nicholson, and he will take on Jamie Lewis for a place in the quarterfinals. Two unseeded players will go head-to-head in Sindelfingen for a spot in the last 8.
Paul. Congratulations. You had to work very, very hard for that. It felt like you were hanging on at the start of the match, but then actively chasing him down and reeling him in.
Yeah, that was very difficult. It's the first time I've played Mervyn on the European stage. Today, I was very aware that I haven't made a Sunday on the European Tour for a very long time, and the amount of respect I've got for Mervyn King is immeasurable. When I was a kid, I wanted to be him. It's ridiculous. Even now, you know, I've beaten him in a major final, and it still isn't old. But in the middle of the game, I knew I was losing it, and I knew I had to find something. I thought, just let your right arm relax and let things be natural, because in practice things are okay. Things have got to be improved on, but a natural me is all right. I've just got to keep working hard.
It has been more than a year since you made the last 16 of a ranking tournament. This is a big thing for you. Is this an emotional thing, or is this what is this? It's just reward for hard work?
Not at all. If anything, it's just relying on natural talent, because my girlfriend and I have had many conversations about potentially this being my last season. You know, I don't want to go to Q school in January, come what may. But for me, it's opportunities like playing in this place that inspire you, and it's phenomenal to be back here. I don't take it for granted.
Congratulations, Paul Nicholson. He'll play Jamie Lewis for a spot in the quarter-finals of the European Darts Grand Prix.